What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host, as always. My name is Jimmy, and as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. I want to say thank you to everyone who supports us. Special shout out to all the students from By the Hood University, as well as the youth from the By the Hood Ownership Camp. This year's camp was a major success, the biggest camp we've had thus far, and we will be back next year for year 8. So stay tuned for more information about that. My partner Corey is not with me today. He's actually out working with some youth right now. But you guys know that our show is designed to highlight brothers and sisters who are doing positive work in the community, building businesses, just real Black excellence is what we try to highlight, man. And this brother I have on right now, man, I'm so excited to have him here. We got Corwin Jackson on, man. How are you, good brother? First and foremost.
Hey man, I'm doing well, man. I'm not sure how I made it on this platform, but something's going right for me to get here.
Well, listen, before I even start into your story, man, I gotta tell a story about your business, right? You're one of my favorite Black-owned businesses, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right?
That's awesome, man.
I've been using your services literally for years, like probably over. How long you been in business with Core Inspection?
We launched back in 2014. We didn't really get traction until 2015 or so.
I probably used you within your first year of business.
That's
it was
awesome.
a recommendation, but let me tell you why. Your business is one that I always speak highly of, whether you're in the room or you're not in the room. And I've said it on several podcasts, actually mentioning your business. I'm gonna tell you.
I know you're not bluffing or capping like the young guys say. I saw you announce it on stage one time, man.
Oh, yeah, but
I said, "Wow, man!"
But I'm explaining to you why, though. I'm explaining to you why. I was recommended your company, and I did business with your company, and it was so. The customer service was A1, the product was A1, the reporting was A1, the communication between the inspector and me was A1. This is before I even knew who you were, and at the time, I didn't even know it was a Black-owned business, right? So, but it was such a quality service that when I found out it was a Black-owned business, I literally took like a sense of pride in that. You know what I mean? Because within our community, a lot of times, you hear people say like, "Oh, I ain't doing business with y'all. The customer service is this." You hear all those negative things, right? And it's not to say that those things don't exist, but we tend to scream louder when we don't like something. And I say, look, when I find something I do like, and it's one of my people, I'm going to shout about that. So before even knowing that it was your business, just the way you guys do business is A1. And before we even tell your story, I just want to congratulate you on that and say thank you, because I take a sense of pride in your company.
Absolutely. It's been a long journey to get there. And, I can't tell you that, we started off this way. You're going to make some mistakes along the way. One of the things I had to learn quickly was, guess what? You can't do this thing by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, I think one of the things that we're challenged with as Black owners, particularly new entrepreneurs, as that money is coming in, and I failed at this during, some of my first attempts at different businesses. But, as that money's coming in, you got to reinvest that.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, hey, the company generated 100,000, I'm going to spend 90. No, if the company generated 100,000, you could probably put 20% of your pocket. But if you want to be if you want to be marketing strongly, then guess what? 17 to 20% needs to go back to just that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have a good culture within your employee base, then 50% of what you're making needs to go back into the employees, right? Whether it's training, whether it's hiring, whether it's employee salary, you're going to have legal things come up. That 50% I also allocated there. So really just understanding your, and I'm saying it. And before I say this, I'm going to also say, my bookkeeper friend and accountant is probably going to hear this. I know I've been dodging him for about 30 to 60 days, but you really need to have a really strong understanding of your numbers, and you need to be meeting with your bookkeeper, once a month. And the transition comes where you use those numbers, what happened last month, to give you direction of what you should be doing the next 30 to 60 days, not just an understanding how the money was spent. Right. But just an understanding from an accounting perspective, what you should be doing, moving forward, because there are huge stories to tell. You know, and looking back at your books over the past couple of weeks. So,
And these are things that you learned along the journey, right?
come on, man. I knew this stuff the day I was born, man. No, serious. But here's what I'll tell you. Yeah, absolutely. I learned this along the journey, but the journey became a little bit quicker because, you know, one of the things that we have now, um, you know, that we don't utilize as often as we should is, guess what? Most of the things that we are trying to do, you know, whether you want to be a professional athlete, whether you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, guess what? There are tons of people that came before you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes in your market, you may not be able to find let's say you wanted to be a fire suppression expert, right? You wanted to design and install sprinkler systems. Well, you probably won't find someone in your market that's ready to share all that information with you, particularly within a niche market. But guess what? You better believe there's somebody in Dallas that's doing it well. There's somebody in Columbus, Ohio that's doing it well. There's somebody in Tennessee. So, you know, simply do that research, find out who those market or industry leaders are in other areas, and then take the time to go out there. Here's what I'll tell you, Jimmy. Like, I'm in a lot of different mastermind groups, and I know um, you know, before I meet with these groups, that we're only going to be 3 to 5% in terms of our culture that's there. You know, so as a community, as a culture, we don't take the money, and it gets back into the investment thing that we were talking about in business. You got to invest in yourself as if it's a business, right? So typically, we're not spending the money to invest in ourselves to get us to the next level, right? We all, you know, whether it's you know, again, whether you want to do something as an athlete and now you need a coach to get you the next level, a private coach, right? So, you know, me and a close partner of mine, Robert Battle, we were looking at launching a YouTube channel where we started bringing in some of the top realtors, you know, in the area, and we just started. We called it a real estate master class. One of the first things we did was bring in a coach, right? What should the room look like? You know, what type of equipment should we use to film this thing on, right? Somebody that's already been there and done and been successful at it. Because guess what? You're going to irregardless, you're going to make some mistakes, but you want to minimize those mistakes that you make.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's start from the beginning, but let's start from how you even got into the business, right? So where were you born and raised?
Hey, man, I'm from Logan, 10th and Lindley. So
okay, 10th and Lindley.
10th and Lindley Avenue, yeah, Logan. So if you think about that neighborhood where, you know, they know us as all them blocks that were sinking, you know, a lot of the houses were knocked down. In fact, most of them are still removed. Yep, that's where I'm born and raised at.
Okay, so what kind of student were you coming up?
I tell you what, man. Here's something that very few people know, unless you knew me from back when, and many people will be shocked to know, man. I actually I was actually in reform school for a couple of years. Yeah, from probably I think the 6th grade through the 8th grade, and then I entered back in high school, and you know, as a freshman, I think the end of the year.
Okay, what high school did you attend in Philly?
Hey, Northeast High School, man. I'm a Viking.
Northeast guy.
You know
I'm a Central guy. I'm a Central guy, so you
know that well. Yeah, absolutely.
But so let me ask you this question though. So you went to Northeast for high school. Was entrepreneurship something that you learned as a kid? Was it in your family, or like how did you? Was it something you always wanted to do, or what were your plans when you were in Northeast?
Here's what's interesting, man. You know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was a hustler, man, and he was the guy where, you know, we would be driving back from North Carolina. We would bump into a store that said Nikes for sale, $5. And I'm not talking about nice Nikes. I'm talking about purple Nikes, like just straight up the shoestrings, everything is purple. And he would say, you know what? I bet I can buy them for $5 and I could sell them for 50, right? Everybody in the neighborhood was wearing purple sneakers, right? He was that guy. He was the guy that would, buy a bunch of Christmas trees, and him and his buddies, they would set up shop somewhere and get them off. So um he was involved in real estate. I would have my weekends spending with him. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but he was the landlord that's going by, taking the sons with him, doing the repairs, picking up rent checks. I would hear the complaints, and I can remember telling my dad, you know what, one day, when I get older, I'll go to real estate school. He said, well, if you pay attention, you in it right now.
Mm.
He was, but I really did not see that for myself in terms of, all right, I know when I get older, I'm going to go into, work for myself. I have older brothers that launched HVAC companies, plumbing companies, and stuff like that. And Jimmy, because I'm so hard headed, watching them do it and watch them be successful, I still didn't see it for myself.
Wow. So what was the journey like? So the journey to get you from there to, like, having what you have now when you were in Northeast, what was the next step after Northeast?
So after Northeast, I went right into the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I went right into the Marine Corps. When I say right, if we graduated June 1st, by June 16th, I had my feet on those yellow footprints, as they call it.
So how did the Marine shape you? Like, how did that impact you?
I'm going to tell you, I needed that more than anything else, man. Because you're at that age where when you turn 18, you need to have very specific direction. You need to have your days need to be organized. If not, you know how we are as young men. We're going to go out and we're going to get ourselves into some trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I needed that. I needed to learn about leadership. I needed to learn about responsibility. All of those things. But really, there's just the leadership skills that came out of it. I could tell you where the challenge became. I think I was sharing this on a different podcast here recently. Most cases, when you exit the military, they don't always give you skills that are immediately translatable to the outside world, right? Once you get out. So we all have these huge schemes and dreams and thoughts that, hey, once I get out of the military, there's a big job waiting for me somewhere. I'm going to be a manager, or it's going to pay 100% for school, all of those things. But what happens is, and in the military, that's called going from green to blue. Because when you think blue, you think of the corporate world. We're in a tie. So you go from your green fatigues to corporate blue, right? And we all think that that's going to be such an easy transition. But the challenge becomes, like I was in field artillery in the Marine Corps, 0811 stuff, grunt stuff, gun stuff, all that type of stuff. So unless you're jumping right into law enforcement or something dealing with corrections, it doesn't immediately translate.
Gotcha.
So, the challenge becomes, hey, I'm now out of the Marine Corps. In my mind, I have a resume that's really strong, but the hiring managers are looking at it, and guess what? I don't have anything that translates to the outside world.
Okay.
So,
understood.
Yeah. So now, yep, I'm listening.
Then?
So now, the challenge becomes, you're looking at your peers, and many of them already launched a great career in trades, or they have their bachelor's degree moving forward to their master's degree. And then I started learning more about real estate. I was always fascinated with real estate. And my thought was, the best way to start gaining ground and catching up with people financially is to start investing in properties, start buying properties, fixing them up, flipping them. My dad wasn't around anymore at that time. He had passed away while I was in the Marine Corps. But those conversations remained where, hey, you need to think about being your own boss. You want to control your time. You want to leverage your money to buy real assets, that type of deal. So I got deeply involved. I was buying houses, flipping them, renting them out. But the challenge was, Jimmy, I did not have the managerial background. Okay. So it's funny the way everything kind of played out. When I came out of Marine Corps, I had the leadership stuff, but just in terms of dealing with people, just in terms of directing people, just in terms of motivating people, I still needed that experience to start just in the corporate world, right? So while I was investing in real estate, I was working in logistics for many years. And that's where I started to get that background. I started as an actually a forklift driver and went all the way up to the director of operations where I was managing. At the time, I think my last stop was a paint manufacturer and distributor, right?
Okay.
So I'm managing a ton of employees. I'm traveling. I'm doing a lot of things. But again, my passion was real estate, right? So we know, when your passion is real estate, what is it that people always say when you want to go into real estate full time? Just be a realtor.
Yeah,
It's
go
so
get your license. Go
easy.
get your license. Yeah.
You'll make so much money. Well, I actually had some friends that were realtors, so I knew that wasn't the case, and I knew that my personality did not quite fit with driving people around for 4 hours, 5 hours. Guess what? If I show you 6 homes, you better buy one of them. We can talk about that first three or four. Yeah, you couldn't see the bathroom in the pictures. The block isn't what you thought, but guess what? After that sixth house, yeah, you're gonna sign on one of these bad boys.
The worst part about that is, in my experience, right, is when you do that, you show someone 10 houses, they always end up going back to the first one anyway.
How
I
about
think
that?
I'm gonna go back to the first one. Like
How
we
about that? How about that?
I just wasted
Yeah.
days showing you like 10 other ones. But
And then
yeah,
with the climate that we've been in, that first one that you saw, that's not available anymore.
yeah,
The
it's gone
inventory
now.
is
These
all
days, that's
shot.
gone.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so and then like dealing with one of my own properties or just dealing with properties, I started meeting home inspectors, and I said, wow, this is a new industry, something I'm not familiar with. And I can remember my conversation with these guys is, do you do this all day? Like, is this your only? And they would say, yeah, pretty much. As a home inspector is a big industry, and that's all I do. And I said, wow. So when I'm buying properties, I'm actually getting on the roof. I'm actually looking into the electric panel, the foundation. At that point, as an investor, I had just a lower tier understanding of the functionality of a house. So I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm doing this anyway, just for my own personal portfolio. So why not turn this into something that I'm doing, for clients? And I was really just amazed when I started to learn more about the home inspection industry and just how busy these folks are. So yeah,
Okay.
so with that, I kind of became interested in it and never really looked back.
So how did you get to having your own? Did you go work somewhere first, or you just went right into like I need to set up my own? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I worked for someone, and I signed what was a very nervous. It was a nerve-wracking agreement where I paid the person to train me, and now guess what? You know how to do inspections, but you don't know anything about the marketing side. You don't know anything about how the reports are written out. You don't know. You're simply a tech, right?
Okay.
So I wasn't really able to go into business for myself. So then the conversation was, you know what? I'll give you some tips on where to meet people. You can use all of our branded material. You can use our brochures. You can direct people to our website. So you're free to go and hunt, right? You're free to go and catch your own fish. But whatever you catch, I need 50% of that, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where. So it was either that or hey, I have to go out and figure everything out on my own, and I wasn't ready to do that yet.
Yeah.
So
But a couple of things you said though, interesting as we have this talk is, when you went and worked in with the forklift and everything, you were using these different job opportunities to pick up skills to then transfer to your own thing. Were you cognizant if that's what you were doing, or it just it's something that happened and you look back later like, wow, I picked this up there?
definitely not. I just knew that each of those companies, it didn't feel like home.
Okay.
It didn't feel like a place that I wanted to stay at. Um, so no, I wasn't smart enough to understand that I was being groomed for something greater at a later date. I just knew that if something was going to happen, I kind of had to take the risk, jump out there. It's the old thing of what hold us all back, which is fear. You
Okay.
know,
Hmm.
because if the what's crazy is I had other folks in my family that grew their wings and just jumped. I mean, they jumped and just grew their wings on the way down. where, you know, I'm picking up information from here, picking up information from there, and it was really them that kept pushing me, like, dude, what are you waiting on? You know, some of these things you can kind of learn as we're heading down the road. Rocking and rolling. So
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. So now you start your own. You have your core inspections.
yeah,
And you talked about how you had to grow into what you've become.
absolutely.
So along that journey, like, tell us about maybe one or two hurdles that you had to get you from, like, starting out to where you are now.
Oh man, I could tell you, man. My thought was, I could tell you what I thought would be easy about this business, and it's funny. Right before we call, I had a meeting with the guy that handles my marketing. I thought that, we would just print up some brochures, put those brochures in a real estate office, because guess what? Realtors are going to know people that are doing home inspections, and I can remember very vividly. I'm excited about my brochures. Oh man, I'm a bit biased, but I think they look great. I walked them into a real estate office, and guess what was there to meet me? About 20 other brochures. All same, some of them with the same color scheme as mine, many of them with the same services of mine, many of them with the same cost of mine, right? So what I didn't understand was a keyword brand differentiator, right? Meaning, people are looking at this thing as a 5 bag commodity, right? So if I'm a 5 pound bag of sugar and you're a 5 pound bag of sugar, right? You look at the cost for all to be the same, right? So just understanding, how do you separate your company, particularly within a saturated market, right? Because I think just understanding that, guess what? We have competitors, right? Always, that thought alone always just forces me to raise the bar just a little bit higher, just a little bit higher.
So
You know,
what was the first thing you did to kind of like cut through and to get people to start using your brand or service? Like, what was the first thing that you figured out to get some traction going?
figuring out how you can, you're not asking for business, but you are. I guess we want to say two things. One, stop marketing to people and start connecting with like-minded people. If that makes sense. So what are some of the things that I enjoy, right? That naturally I'm hanging out in those places. Could I
Okay.
potentially turn that into a business play, right? Um, the people that I'm typically hanging around, are they in real estate, right? Is there something of value that I can give them? All right, cool. We got something. I have a friend who's a realtor. He's doing a home buyer seminar. Would it be helpful if I went there and did a presentation on home inspections? I can
Absolutely.
tell you there was a time where almost every weekend I would have an inspection set up followed by a presentation. So and then and where that becomes scary for many people is that's not you're not generating income doing that, right? So just understanding, all right, the income's going to come, but let's build the relationship, right? Let's build that relationship. So really working on presentation skills, being available when people need me, and just making a conscious effort to have some type of speaking engagement, twice a week
Gotcha.
is really what did it. Yeah.
Got you. And like I said, what I love most about your company is the communication and customer service, right? So is that something that you intentionally focused on, or you just got the right people, or is it something that you guys actually train on? Like, we got to be good with customer service.
We train on it, but one of those things happened by mistake. So home inspections is really a young industry. Home inspections didn't get started until like the 1980s. I would say probably 80% of the companies that are still around are mom and pop shops, right? Meaning you got a guy that's out doing the inspection, and he may have his wife or someone close to him that might be answering the phones. Most of them have all of the calls coming to their cell phones, right? And when I started to look at multi-inspector firms, they either had a person in-house answering the phones, or they had some type of call answering service.
Got you.
Right. So the thought was you have to either invest heavily in marketing immediately, or that back office support thing. And I said, man, this is why it was a kind of a mistake, but it happened. It happened by mistake. I'm a guy, I don't like spending a lot of time on the phone. You know, if my wife calls me, as she often does, she knows, hey babe, tell me what you need.
Oh,
And
I'm the same way. I'm the
finish
same
out with
way.
my day. You know, whoever, it could be my best friend, my brother, like I said, my wife. It doesn't matter. Just let me know what you need, and I'm going to be on with a productive day. And if we need to sit on the phone for a minute to hammer it out, it's not a quick answer. That's fine. But I'm looking for specifics when when you call me. So with that being said, Jimmy, I'm not the best person to be answering the phone. It doesn't fit my personality. So when someone said, "Hey, you can retain 15 to 20% to remain profitable," we need to start allocating the other funds that you bring in. The first thing I said was, "Let me get a customer service person, right?
Okay.
Either a call center, or someone in house." Um, and just right in line with that, I'll tell you, for a long time, this industry has the first thing we went through is really educating people on why they need a home inspection. That was the first piece. Like, man, I'm buying a house. It looks great. Why do I need a home inspection? The home inspection industry went through that drill for the first 15 to 20 years, really just educating the consumer base. So any brochure you looked at, it would say, here is why you need us, right? So after that phase, a lot of different home inspection companies started to be profitable. They started to grow. Now you got a couple two-man teams out here. You got people that are just making a strong living, with home inspections. The next piece they went into with heavily just marketing, getting involved with social media, email blasts, different print ads. We became really smart in marketing as an industry. What I believe we're transitioning to, and what I'm trying to be on the forefront of, is the customer service piece,
Got
right?
you.
Because the thought is, all right, the guy came out, he did a home inspection, now he doesn't know me anymore. What if we have a question about the report? What if we need additional costs for some of the things that he found during the inspection? We're going to back up from there. Typically, with our industry, you don't meet the home inspector until after you pay him and he comes out. So the first face for the company is who?
The inspector.
It is. You'll meet him when
Or
you come out, but it's
yeah,
typically
when you,
that person you call.
yeah, the call center when you call to schedule it. Yeah.
That's the first touch point, right? So, for many years, we didn't invest in that. I'm not saying Core Inspection Group. I'm saying the home inspection company, home inspection industry as a whole. So you would either get someone's voicemail, you're waiting for a call back, just horrible customer service. And guess what? There's a lot of people that still operate that way, right?
Yeah, but what I was talking about with you guys is you not only have the call part down, but even like so recently I used your company, and my client had a question. She called the inspector. He got right on the phone with her and like gave her an education. And I'm like, okay, so you guys got the customer service on the front end, but also the back end where your inspectors don't mind taking time explaining their work.
Absolutely, critically important. What's funny? So I sat in a team meeting the other day. We're just now really getting back to in-house team meetings. We've been doing all of them virtually. And I went around the room and I said, okay, how many times do you get a request to call the client back in a week? And I'm going each inspector. And it came out that maybe twice a month, our guys are getting a call to, hey, this guy has a client. I say, if it's only happening twice a month, why aren't we calling a guy back that day? It's only happening twice a month. There's so many areas, Jimmy, where we can dig in to find where we need to improve at. For us, it's customer service. It's being at the forefront for technology. So we invest in All of our guys are certified thermographers. What
Okay.
that means is they can use infrared cameras to detect thermal anomalies. Why is that important to a client? Because a lot of times you can have a leak that's on the ceiling, but it's not visible to the naked eye. A lot of times you can have a issue with a radiator, an issue with a forced air heating system, even an electric panel. We find overheating electrical wires often, and we do that because of the technology that we're able to invest in. There was a time, I think most of the industry is caught up to us by now, but there was a time where we'll head out with a 48-foot extension ladder, and guess what? If that roof is too high for us to hit with it, or if it's something going on with the walkway is uneven, we'll tell them, hey, you have to find a roofer that can go out here to figure out what's going on with the roof. Now we'll send out a drone, or we'll send out a manager with a camera pole. It's just the ability to answer the call. Hey, what are the things that we're not doing right? Where can we change? Where can we invest? All those types of things. So
That's
yeah,
amazing, man. And you guys are doing like I can't give you enough props, man. You guys are doing a great job out here,
yeah.
making us all look good. But let me ask you this question: what has been the most rewarding part of this journey with starting Core Inspections? What do you think is the most rewarding part for you?
Oh man, that's easy, man. Sometimes we get guys that come in from a different industry. Like I had a guy that came in, he was an appraiser. I had a guy that we're working with that was an architect. Both of them through faults out of their own, just because of things that's happening within their industry, they had to find something else to do. My guy that's an architect, he was saying like a lot of times, like those plans, once you make one, it's already been duplicated 1,000 times. This is a guy that was doing new construction homes. He was saying people can just buy the software now. It's not a need for that. Our person that came in that was doing appraisals, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's going on with the appraisal industry, but typically the mortgage company is going to order one, but they
Yeah.
can't select the company.
Yep, I have a valuation license myself. I worked in the industry, so I understand. Like in the past, you could choose your own appraiser.
You can choose your
Now,
own
yeah,
appraisal.
now, yeah.
2008, 2009, everything that happened with the prime issue, you can't do that anymore. So being able to introduce them into a new industry, my guy that was an architect, he just completed 1,600 inspections with us. He's been
Wow,
on board with us for 4 years now.
wow,
Yep.
that's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
had I had a guy. He had a HVAC. He was a HVAC tech, and this guy was super nervous. And from him, it became no longer a job offer, but a recruitment initiative for me, because I knew if we could bring this guy in, we could quickly bring him up to speed, and it's a better lifestyle. So just being able to introduce people into the home inspection industry, and just really watch them make a career out of it. Really just watch them make a career out of it, because there is a lot of, we don't work in a very fast paced environment. We
Hmm.
just work in a time sensitive environment, right?
Hmm.
Where the reports need to be back at a specific time, right? They need to pick up the radar monitors at a specific time. But these guys are really working independently. They can easily go 30 days without physically seeing myself or another inspector from our company.
Got you,
You know,
got you. So,
you know.
you talked about like investing into yourself, into your business, how you just you reinvest profits back into, creating a bigger and better company.
Yep.
Um, do you have a favorite book or something that's helped you along your journey that helped you, grow as a business person?
There's been a few of them. I could tell you, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell is powerful.
Oh yeah, yeah, 10,000 hours.
And I can remember as a kid reading books and trying to understand, like, when someone went from just normal, mediocre. I mean, I would read Gail Sayers' autobiography at the time. I would read stuff about Einstein. I would read just different books, and I would try to figure out, like, when did this guy make the leap? Like, when did Jordan really become Michael
Jordan,
Jordan?
yeah, yeah.
When did it? Try to understand it, and I could never quite find it. What was getting away from me is just how hard these people were working. So what stood out in Outliers, I felt like I finally got that question answered directly, not with me just figuring it out. He
Yeah.
was saying that, in this country, people pay really well for experts.
Yes.
People pay really well for experts. And what constitutes an expert in this country is typically 10 years or 10 years of committed, dedicated service. Right. So if you're just looking for like, and Jimmy, you see it happen so many times. You see it happen so many times. Someone is working on something with a lot of passion. They're into it. They may be building an insurance firm. Now they hear about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all they want to do. You see it happen so many times. They may be a realtor. Now they hear about tourism. And let
Yeah.
me
They
say
go from one thing
this.
to the next. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure Bitcoin, you can make as much money as you want to make. I'm going to assume because in most industries you can. I'm sure with that rental car app tourism, you can make as much money as you want. But I'm sure if you put a high level of passion into any of those industries, and you're dumping your own sweat equity and with your own dollars behind it, right? You're going to get to the same destination.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, right, and that's interesting because when we see
Mhm.
people like whether it's an athlete, it could be an entertainer, like we'll see
Mhm.
Beyonce on stage and say, "Oh my God, she's amazing," not recognizing the amount of work and time she put into being that great, or even in business, right? When we see you like come out and speak or talk about the history of home inspections, and even using your product, right? And I'm all, like I said, I'm always bigging you guys up, but I'm only seeing the end result of all the years and investment that you put into your business.
Yeah,
It's the same
yeah,
concept, right? You've invested a lot of money and a lot of time into making your company as efficient and as good as it is. But
absolutely.
what we see is the end result.
Yeah, so really that's why I go back to that book Outliers, man, where it just, it really dives in into,
Yeah.
into what it takes, hours and hours, days and
Hmm.
days, weeks and weeks, years and years, and we're just at that pace as a human race where, Jimmy, let me tell you something. I ordered something online yesterday, something custom online yesterday around 12 noon. I got a message on my phone that says at my front doorstep, like right
Hmm.
now.
Wow.
So we're just at that time where we want immediate gratification, immediate results,
Hmm.
right?
And but you're right though, that hyper focus. I remember a teacher telling me years ago, um, just look at medicine. You
Mm-hmm.
see, like a general surgeon will have a certain salary, but when someone specializes and becomes a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon, or they only work, or whatever it may be, those salaries are a lot higher because they're able to hyper
Exponentially
focus.
higher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exponentially higher. I tell you another thing I share, and just because they're local to us, I always bring them up. There's a company, it's in I think I want to say Divine, PA. It's somewhere. It's on a main line. They specialize in transmissions for Mustangs. That's all they do. That's so you're laughing because immediately like they is there any question that they're the expert?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Call
So
them
if I have
for
a
anything
Mustang,
else.
yeah, if I have a Mustang, guess who I'm going to call?
Don't call me for anything else, right? And so
Hmm.
around the country, they are known for that. People will ship them in and out. That's all they do. So the challenge is, and I can tell you as a business owner, I'm struggling with it now. Um, I want to say the name of the book was Blue Ocean, but it talked about like niches, like people. You really get bigger, and you can really generate a lot of income with if that is your niche,
Hmm.
right? If all you did was lead paint removal, if all
Hmm.
you did was asbestos removal, if all you did was repair high income, that is the guy for that,
Yeah.
right? That's the guy that's going to do it the fastest. That's all he's focused on. The challenge is for business owners, we feel like we have to answer the call to so many things, and if not, the client may go elsewhere, right? So
Hmm.
now, sure, we do home inspections, but guess what? We also have guys that certified in termite, certified in radon. We got a sewer scope division because we're just being we're being pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
I was on a coaching call the other day where there are a lot of people that are now doing tank scans, meaning they can determine if you have a oil tank buried underground.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. They do. There are some of them are as large as a lawnmower. Others are as large. Others just almost look like a large wand, if you will. And when I looked at the report that the guy print out, he put a lot of stuff in his report that I would not have picked up on because I'm not trained in that area, right? So he says at one point you can tell there were oil lines coming out of the home here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I say that to say I could very easily take a 2 hour class to teach me how to do that, but I don't have enough clients that's going to call me for it.
That is worth it. Yeah.
So I don't think I would be an expert in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we just have to be careful of when you're my time is better spent just making sure we are running a smooth home inspection operation. Our home inspections are bar none, right? Um, so just understanding that you don't have to offer every service out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the services that your clients really need?
Yeah. Listen. This is a
Right.
great conversation because, truth be told, and I haven't really told anybody. Like when we started Buy the Hood a while ago, was because, as an agent, everybody was chasing the high end listings out in the suburbs. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how Buy the Hood started. Was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna specialize in this. I'm going to stick to the hood, and I'm just going to get all the
Yeah.
listings over here, while you guys go chase $1 million. I'll just, but the funny thing is, because of that brand and name,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of clients I get now will call because of that. Like because
Yes.
but that's kind of where it came from. Like
Yes. Yeah.
niching down. Like this will be my niche as an investor and as an agent as well. So that's kind of how that came about. So that idea of
Yeah.
niching is very
Yeah.
important to business owners to figure out
Yeah. What
what
works well? What's in your DNA?
Yeah. Yep.
What's it? You know what? I got a brother that's a master plumber. I got another brother that's a licensed. I've been on a lot of plumbing jobs. Launching a forensic drain inspection, a forensic drain inspections isn't huge to us. Doing sewer scopes isn't huge to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have a lot of different connections in the mold industry. Doing mold stuff like that, that's not huge to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you start talking about pool inspections, I don't see a lot of pools.
Got you.
I'm just not in the area where we see a lot of pools. Let me tell you, I could take a 1 hour course, send it off to Ashley. I'm now certified for that. I'll probably pick up an extra 8 to 10,000 a year. Is that the best thing to do for our clients? No, it's
Got
not.
you.
You
Yep.
know, it's to say, okay, if you need a pool inspection, here's a company that has treated our clients well, and here's a number you call.
Got you. Got you. So let me ask you this question, right? So you've built core to where it is. And I can't praise you guys enough. I'm going to continue to do that. But what does the future look like for you and your business? What are some of the things that you're looking to do in the future, or
Hey,
what are you thinking about as we move forward?
that's a really good question, man. So some of the things where I think you know clients don't have enough information about are um, there isn't a great solution in place for them. One of the roads that we're going to go down is doing mold remediation. So we got another LLC that's getting ready to launch soon. There are a lot of homes that we're in that have mold issues, but not a good service provider, particularly that works closely within the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that matters is, we talked about, the real estate transaction being a very time sensitive environment. So what happens is a lot of times you call someone that, hey, if a roof has to get fixed, chimney has to get fixed, there is a mold issue. Jimmy, you dealt with enough contractors.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
You know how they work, right? They're going to give you a time. They may be there or they may not be there at that time,
Yep.
right? You may text them and they may not get back to you, that type of thing. So I think just areas where we can better give clients a post inspection service, is going to be mold remediation issues. Just really.
That's absolutely needed because, like, you know, recently I had a new rental property, and you know how you have to get those mold inspections.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people that, you know, have mold inspection companies, but I couldn't find too many mold, like, you know, removal remediation companies.
Yeah, and there are some out there, but I think what would be unique about us is when the client says, "Well, I think where most contractors, you know, their side of the story is, hey, if someone tells me they need it done right away, I know they're going to hang up the phone. They're going to call for other people, right?
Yeah.
They're worried about the price shopping thing or the price gouging thing, where you know, a lot of times people are just calling for the lowest cost service provider. So contractors are dealing with that. Um, you know, so I just think, you know, we've been in the real estate industry long enough that we understand when a client says, yeah, I need it like yesterday, that they're under a contractual obligation. We need to respond quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of deal. So just in terms of other services or a different you know, business that's going to partner this, that's one piece. We're also looking at doing radon mitigation. And I think radon is still, most people don't know, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. I'll say it one more time because I know many times when people hear this, they're like, wait a minute. What is radon is the second leading cause to lung cancer. Where it gets a bit scary at is that, you know, we talked about people being price conscious about their inspections. I would say probably 40% of the people that call us for a home inspection aren't getting a home tested for radon, right? Yeah. So, okay, so then the issue is, all right, you told me I have a radon issue. Where do I go next, right?
Okay, I
so
see.
That's what, yeah. So that's one area that we're looking to answer the call. And I really think that, you know, we have a stronghold within the Philadelphia market.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting to grow in the South Jersey market, but with me, the short term goal is, you know, completing our footprint within the tri-state area.
Got you.
The same number of home inspectors that we have available on the Pennsylvania side of the bridge, we have available in Delaware. We have available in Jersey. This is an area where, you know, so many times I'll meet someone over in Jersey. Oh yeah, you know, we actually just sold a house over in Pennsylvania. Jimmy, as you know, we got so many people that's moving from Pennsylvania down to Delaware.
Yep.
Right. So this is an area where, you know, a lot of our realtors are really connecting the dots, and they're now licensed in 3 states. The 4th state, and I could tell you right now, I'm not looking at it, but I'm hearing it a lot. There's so many people getting licensed down from Maryland now. There's a lot of that going on.
It is. There's a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So listen, this has been awesome, man. And I do want to say thank you, first and foremost, like, you know, for your time, because time is valuable, and, you know, just want to say thank you for that. But also for everybody watching, please make sure you check out Core Inspection. But I say it all the time. Listen, if you somebody looks like me and you're not using them, something's wrong with you, because, you know, outside of this being a good brother, they have the best product on the market. Like, so there's no reason not to use them, man. And I can't, you know, speak highly of you enough, because, you know, when you find someone that looks like you that has a business, I believe you're supposed to scream and shout about that the same way you do when you find something you don't like, right?
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate you, man. So yeah, there are so many people that we haven't had the opportunity to work with. But I tell you guys, we provide exceptional service, and most importantly, we just have an amazing team of inspectors. We just have an amazing, not just inspectors, our supporting cast, from our client care folks to our relationship managers. We got an amazing team, and you know, we're looking to build some relationships. So if we can help in any way with your upcoming clients, feel free to give us a call.
Absolutely. And I will put all of Corwin's contact information within the description. So if you're listening to the audio, it'll be in the show notes. If you're watching the video, it'll be right in the description. Social media and information about the company. So please make sure you check out everything that he's got going on. Again, brother, much continued success. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for giving us all the gems that you've given us in terms of how you grew your business.
Yes, sir.
Take value from this. And to our audience out there, we appreciate you. As we always say, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see you guys on our next episode, but we appreciate you as always. Peace.
Thanks, Jimmy. You're the man.